Good morning, everyone. My name is Asma. I'm currently pursuing BTech Computer Science Engineering at Acharya College of Engineering Technology in Pondicherry. In this video, I'm going to share my MERN Full Stack Internship learning experiences from Webstack Academy. In this internship, we have done a project which is a food delivery app. We have learned how to develop front end, how to develop back end, how database is connected to create APIs, and also the payment integration part. The technologies we learned are MongoDB Atlas, which is used to cloud database hosting. In MongoDB Atlas, the data are arranged in such a way in which our computer organizes folders and files in File Manager. Similarly, in our project, we have user data, restaurant data, food items data, the menu data. All these data are arranged in an organized and documented format in MongoDB Atlas. And Node.js and Express.js are used to develop the backend. Node.js allows us to run the JavaScript on the server side. Earlier, JavaScript can run only on the browsers, but Node.js allows us to run the JavaScript on the server side itself. Express.js it's a lightweighted framework in Node.js which allows us to handle tasks like starting the servers, creating APIs. All these things can be done without writing everything from the scratch. So Express is a framework which allows us to do tasks in a more easier way. React.js we use React.js to build the front-end UI in pages. Traditionally, we use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build a front-end page. But it makes things complicated because we can't reuse the code. We have to write the part of code again and again, even if there are small changes in it. For example, if we have three or four cards in which I have the name and students class. For each card, the stylings, everything is same. But the only thing that differs is the name and class of the student. So, in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we rewrite the code again and again for each card. But in React, we keep a block of code and passes the information to the component according to the change using the props. Props stands for properties. Props is used to pass information to a component. For example, if a code is created, that same block of code, using that same block of code, using the props, we only change the name and the student's class. The other details remains the same. We don't write the block of code again and again. With a single block of code, we can create multiple cards by using the props. Some of the features of React.js are building single page application and JSX. Single page applications are those applications which do not reload the entire page when an update is made. Instead, the only part which is updated gets re-renders automatically without refreshing. For example, if we take YouTube, in YouTube when we click a video, the whole page will not get reloaded again, but instead the only the required part gets updated automatically without reloading the entire page. These kind of single page applications can build easily by using React.js. Similarly, it also has a feature called JSX, JavaScript Syntax Extension, which allows us to write a code in such a way that the syntax combines both HTML and the JavaScript. HTML and JavaScript can be combined and written in the React.js. These are the features of React.js which make things more easier to build the UI pages instead of the traditional HTML, CSS and the JavaScript. And then next is the Postman. The Postman is used to test the APIs that we create. In the backend, whenever we create an API, we can check whether it is working correctly or not using the Postman along with the HTTP methods. We paste the APIs in the Postman and check it. If the status code is 200 OK, it means the API is working completely perfect and all right. If some other status codes occurs like 401, 404, using these codes we can identify what kind of error is occurring and then we can resolve it. So to check whether our APIs are working correctly or not, we use the Postman. Next is the Stripe. Stripe is used for secure online payment gate. Stripe is a secure online payment gateway. We can manage payments and the details of payments using this Stripe. And then comes the Grok. In our project, we have implemented two AI features. These AI features are implemented using Grok. Grok is an AI platform which allows us to run the powerful AI LLMs. For example, LLAMA is a LLM from Meta. We do not directly use the LLAMA, but whenever a request is made related to the AI feature, the backend, the Grok API will be called, and then the Grok API sends the request in the form of prompt to the LLMs which we selected, and then LLM returns the response back to the Grok, and Grok returns the response to the server. So basically, Grok is an AI platform which allows us to run the powerful LLM models. We do not run the LLMs directly in our computer, but Grok runs the LLM models. The project workflow looks like this. React frontend sends API request, Express or Node backend processes that request, MongoDB Atlas stores users, restaurants, menus, and orders data, Stripe handles payments, Grok provides AI features, Postman is used for testing the API. The authentication workflow. Whenever we are making an authentication part, the workflow should look like this. First step, we have to create a schema. Schema is nothing but a model which defines what kind of fields, whatever the required fields is there, we have to define it in the schema. For example, for a user, the fields that required are name, password, phone number, email ID, confirm password. All these details has to be defined in the schema. The file called user model.js, in that we create a user schema. If it is a restaurant model, then we create a schema for the restaurant. Whenever we create authentication flow workflow, the first step is to create a schema. And we can also include details like conditions like the name should not pass more than 30 characters, the email ID verifications, all these things could be done in this schema. Next, we have to write the controller part, which consists of the logics like sign up, login, log out. All these logics are written in the controller file. After writing the logic, we have to create a route file. Routes are the one which decide which part of the code should run for which request. For example, if the login request is made, then the login code in that particular file should run. This is decided by the route. Route looks like slash login, slash sign up. All these are routes deciding particular part of a code in a file along with the HTTP methods like post, put, get, delete. All these methods along with the routes creates an API. Then the created route file should be registered in the app.js file. For example, if the file name is route file, then we have to create a base URL and define the name of the file route API. So whenever the base API used, whenever the base URL is used, it will locate us to that file which we defined, which is the route file. Inside that route file, what code should run is decided by the route defined. For example, in the front end, if the request is made for login, then the API take us to the API and route take us to the file which is required to run. And inside that file, which part of code should run is decided by the API endpoints, which is routes like login, sign up, all these things. So route is something which decides which part of the code should run inside a file. And that should be registered in app.js with a base URL and defining the file name as well. After creating the APIs, we have to test those APIs in the Postman along with the HTTP methods. The four methods are there. The get method is used to read data from the database. The put method is used to update the existing data. The post method is used to register the data into the database. The delete method is used to delete the data. Next is the restaurant fetch workflow. This workflow gives us a clear picture of how the front end works. Most of us might think the component is the one which makes the API call, but it's not. Whenever we click a component, the component dispatches the action alone. Then the dispatched action is handled by the slice. Slice is the one which makes the actual API call. Slice always store the particular type of data. For example, if it is a restaurant slice, it stores the restaurant data. If it is an order slice, it consists of order data. Likewise, the slice is the one which makes the API call to the backend. The backend receives the request and sends the response. With the response which is received from the backend gets updated in the Redux store. Redux store consists of data which is shared by multiple components of the React, multiple components in our project. Whenever a change is made in the Redux store, the React recognizes the change and update the required part automatically in our website without need for refreshing manually each time. Whenever a change is made in Redux store, it will reflect in our page automatically. If the code is written in such a way, if this change is made, then take it to this router, which means take it to the next page or other page. If the code is written in such a way, then after making the update, it will take us to other pages, navigate us to the other pages. If not, then the change made will be reflected in the same page itself. So the front end workflow looks like this. Whenever we click a component, the component dispatches the action and the action was handled by Slice. Slice makes the API call and the response was fetched and the response fetched from the backend and the response fetched from the backend is updated in the Redux store. Whenever there is an update in Redux store, the React recognizes the change and update the website automatically. This is how the restaurant fetch workflow looks like. With all these learnings and concepts, we have successfully developed a MERN food delivery app. We have gained practical experience with full stack development. We have gained knowledge about multiple technologies such as Grok, Stripe, etc. MongoDB, Atlas, Node.js, all these tools we have gained knowledge on how these things works, how to connect them with our projects, how API keys can be generated. All these things we have learned. Now let's enter into the project demo. This is our project. The name is Order It, the food delivery app. Here we can see the count of the restaurants available. Here we can see all the restaurants available. One is Dum Biryani, Tintikal Talapakati, KFC, Empire Restaurant, Haldirams, Imperial Restaurant, Meghana's Biryani, Daily Sushi. All these restaurants are available. Here we can see the filtering options. We can sort by ratings. We can sort by reviews. We can see pure veg restaurants. There's only one restaurant which is pure veg, which is Haldiram's. Here we can see the cart is showing as 0, which means the cart is empty. Here we can see the login details. From here we can check the orders. Here we can check our profile. Welcome, John. From here we can edit our profile, and also we can do log out from here. Inside this hotels page, we can see there are menus and food items like starter, biryani, all these things are there, dessert. We can do add to cart from here. If we add this to cart and this as well, here we can see the cart get updated from 0 to 2. We can see whatever we have added has been added to the cart. From here we can add and delete as well. We can delete also. From here we can make the payment. We can see the shipping charges, the total amount, everything is coming. Here we have to type the details, name, address. As of now, I'm giving us XYZ. This is a developer testing card, not the actual payment integration. We are using the development testing card, developer testing card. Clicking the pay. We can see your order has been placed successfully. From here, we can go to the orders. Here we can see these are all already I checked these cards. We can change the status as processing delivered from the database. I've changed these as delivered from the database. We can see this is the one which I have currently made. We can check the order, payment status, paid order status, processing. Items is shown here, rate is shown here, number of items is shown here. This is how we make the order. We can also check the order by from here as well. Going to the orders, we can check here as well. I'm logged in as Don, that's why I can able to add order the items. Let me log out. Now if I click add to cart, it will take me to the login page. So only when you're login, we are allowed to make the orders. Let me log in again. Have logged in again. Now let us see the AI features. Here we can see view review summary. When I click this, the review summary is coming as positive, fresh and flavorful dishes, love the quality and presentation there. But here the number of reviews is 70. So it is not showing all the 70 reviews, but all those 70 reviews are analyzed by the AI and the overall review summary is given here as positive for this Mani's Dum Biryani Hotel. Likewise, for all the restaurants, there are review summaries. Here it is mixed. Here also it is mixed. From here we can check this is generated by AI. Hide summary. Similarly, for all restaurants, we have the review summary which is generated by AI. So the user does not have to read all the reviews one by one. The AI simplifies the process by generating the review summary. Now let me show the admin part. I have already registered a name Tina as admin from the database. So let me log out and log in as Tina. Now we can see there are options like delete in all the restaurants and add restaurant. We can see these options only when we are logging in as admin. Now let's add some new restaurant. New, let's just keep it as XYZ. If the hot restaurant is pure veg, we can click here pure veg, the latitudes and longitudes. Image URL, we can take any image URLs from the browser. Now here we can see a new restaurant is created. So we can add menu from here. Category name like start. Let me give a starter. Create. We can add items from here. Let me give it as paneer tikka. This is another AI feature in our project, which is AI description. We don't have to manually type anything here. We can just click AI description. The description occurs automatically. Marinated paneer cooked in a creamy tomato sauce and spices served in a starter portion. So here we can see the description got automatically generated by AI without us typing manually. The image URL. Here now we can see a food item called paneer tikka with a 250 rupees rate in stack status has been added here. Let us go back. Now we can see here a new restaurant is made, created, and the starter paneer tikka is also created. Let me now do the logout and login as user again. Here we can see the count has changed from 8 restaurants to 9 restaurants. And then the new restaurants has also got added. When we click this, we can see the food item that we added as paneer tikka is shown here. We can add it to cart and check. It is getting added to the cart as well. From here, we can also search for the restaurants like KFC. The restaurant is coming. The search option is also available. We can check it based on the names of the restaurants. Therefore, in our project, there are two AI features. One is this view review summary, which gives the analyzed some review summary of all the reviews as positive, mixed, and negative. And the another AI feature is here, which is this AI description of each food item. We don't have to write it manually. It is generated by AI. Each food items you can see the AI description is there. That's it. Thank you.